All right, today we're going to look at lab equipment. What do we normally use in the lab? What I'm going to do is show you each item. First thing I'm going to do is walk by with the computer. I'm hoping the screen will show you everything. So on the first page of your lab equipment investigation, you can write an if-then. Instead of 20 pieces, we have 18. So I'm taking 2 away for you. That's okay. And then I will go through and tell you what each one is for. I will make a second video to go over the questions. Between these 2 videos, you should have all the information you need to study from and be prepared for the lab equipment quiz. All right, so let's get started. Station 1 are these lovely things. Station 2, try and figure out what these are for, their name, and what we would use them for. Station 3, they have the same purpose, but it's 2 different objects. I'll even put one on to show you what it looks like. Think what they might be used for. Station 4, Station 5. Station 6, notice it has markings along the side. Okay. Station 7, I'm going to show you the front of it, see if you can figure that out. Station 8, Station 9, Station 10 has a couple parts to it. You have this object as well as these 2 pieces that all 3 can be used together. Okay? Station 11, nothing too exciting. Station 12, same purpose, just different objects. Station 13, Station 14, each of these circles is actually a divot, a space where things can be placed. Okay? This is Station 16. Okay, this whole metal object and then this corded tube. Station 14, I missed one, sorry, has 2 parts. This is 14. This bowl has a special name, and then this stick has a special name. Station 17 has multiple parts. You have test tubes. I'm telling you what it is, so you look and see at these. You have this metal object and this along with this holder. Okay? All right, and then the last one, Station 18. Hoping I can turn the computer and just show you what I'm looking at. Bring you towards it, maybe that will help. This white backing, and then if you look towards the side, there's a glass area. That huge thing, I'm going to give you the answer right now. It's called a fume hood. All right, and we will go through that. Okay, so stop if you need to. Now I'm going to explain each one. Station 1 are safety glasses. We will use these for most labs. I'm hoping we get back into person so that you can actually do some labs. Otherwise, you're going to watch me do a lot of demos. Station 2 are called tongs, just your basic tongs. The purpose of tongs, there's a couple different purposes. Oh, the safety glasses is for safety. So tongs are used to hold objects in a fire because you don't want to be using your fingers. The other thing we do is grab items out of a beaker, anything that's submerged. Okay, so anytime you need to hold things or grab things, you use your tongs. Station 3, you had 2 things. You have beaker tongs. They have rubber tipped. Because when glass is hot, you're not going to use regular tongs to grab them. You'll crack the glass. The rubber protects you, and you would grab it this way and pull it. Or you can use this called a hot hands. Okay, they have grippers here. You can grab from the top or from the side and take the beaker off the hot plate. Station 4 is the beaker. Even though there's measuring things on the side, beakers are not used for measuring. A lot of times you'll see people do an about, an average, an estimate, because we can't be sure. It even says plus or minus 5%. So they don't even know how accurate their measurements are. Beakers hold samples. They could be solids, they could be liquids. Kind of hard to do a gas because of the wide mouth, but anything you need to hold. If we need to hold it and have something else inside that we're testing, that's what a beaker's for, holding samples. Station 5, this is called an Erlenmeyer flask. It's spelled capital E-R-L-E-N-M-E-Y-E-R. This holds samples as well, solids, liquids, or gases, because we can get a cork to fit inside of here, okay? Same purpose as a beaker. They both hold samples, but this has a sturdier base, which makes it better when you're doing things in the lab, so it's not as likely to be tipped over. Station 6 is called the graduated cylinder, and this is the only thing that is used to measure volume because it has the actual measurements and you can see each individual line. Kind of hard to see in a video, but I promise you they're individual lines. Okay, Station 7. This is our electronic balance. It may have been called a scale by people in the past, but the actual term is balance. This is for getting the mass of an object. We always get our mass in grams. Okay. Station 8, stir stick, used for stirring. I can also use it because it has a flat edge for scraping stuff, but primarily it's a stir stick. Station 9 was a thermometer. You always hold it from the top. That's why we have this lovely purple thing here. Because if you hold it from the bottom, you're actually changing the temperature. When you measure, you try to turn it towards the side so that you can see the numbers a little bit better. There's this black gradient growing up. Right now, it's telling me that the temperature in my room is about 24 degrees Celsius. In science class, we will always use Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Station 10, we have a bottle that is used for holding samples, an eyedropper for dispensing by drops anything that's in here, that would be a liquid, and then we have what's called a pipette, spelled P-I-P-E-T-T-E. This does a smaller, more precise drop than the eyedropper. So a lot of times I'll use the bottle or a small beaker and then put the pipette in there because I can get a better drop than I can with my eyedropper. But used for holding samples and for dispensing by drops or super small drops. This is a funnel used for pouring things from one container to another. They come in all sorts of sizes. I really like these little ones. Station 12 was the spoon for stirring or for getting samples out, like if I have a powder I need to add to something. The other thing is called a scoopula, S-C-O-O-P-U-L-A. Google probably won't like the spelling of it, but that's the spelling. This is also used for getting samples out of something. When I'm measuring a set amount, it fits in this V-track so you don't spill as easily. Okay, so these are both used for getting samples. Station 13, this is our hot plate used as a heat source. It uses electricity anytime we need to heat something up. Station 14, this bowl is called the mortar, M-O-R-T-A-R, and this stick is called the pestle, P-E-S-T-L-E. The mortar holds the sample, the pestle grinds it. You don't pound, even though you may see that on the cooking channel or something, but you're going to grind it. A lot of times it's cheaper for me to buy my solid chemicals in bulk in like a big chunk, and then grind it on my own than buying it pre-pulverized. So sometimes it's just cost effective. Station 15, this is called a chem plate. We test multiple samples at the same time. So on this chem plate, I happen to have 15 divots where I can test 15 different ways with one sample, or I can test 15 different things in the same way. So if I'm doing acids and bases, I might have 15 different samples and I want to know which one's an acid, which one's a base. I can place a small amount in each and then use my pH paper or my litmus paper to identify acids and bases. This is called a Bunsen burner, capital B-U-N-S-E-N. This is our gas heat source. We use methane gas, and at each lab station we have a nozzle that hooks up to natural gas for us to use. We use this a lot to help us identify the color of a metal in a flame test. Yeah, it's just our other heat source. '17 has multiple things. You have the test tube holder, that's what this white thing is. Test tubes for holding small samples, typically liquids. The test tube clamp, this is to hold the test tube over a flame. And remember, you always put the test tube opening away from you and away from others because it's going to shoot stuff out. And then this is the test tube brush for cleaning the test tube. Any and all parts could be part of a quiz, so make sure you know what each one does. They'll be all separated away from each other. The last item is called the fume hood, and it's a big tan metal box that sucks out all the nasty odors when we burn things. So those are your 18 lab stations. Again, make sure you study them so that you're ready for the quiz that's coming up. I will make a second video just to go over the test question, the questions on the sheet.